guys, welcome to part one of making our custom Christopher Reeve Superman figure. Basically right now we're just looking at our part selection, what figures we're going to use to come about the same result as our number 5 from the first video. You're going to use the Battle Damage Superman from DC Superheroes figures from the first series. You're basically just using the lower legs on this figure. That's all we're taking from him. Got a really slim look and it looks really sharp. The small feet, they're not really square or anything. It's kind of nice for that realistic scale. We're going to use the lower legs off of him, and then we're going to use our DC Universe standard Superman figure. And basically the only reason we're using this one is because of the belt. So really you could use any DC Universe figure as long as it has that belt region, but you might as well use a Superman figure because you're just popping the belt right back on. Then we have our New Krypton DC Direct Superman figure, and again, of course, all we're using for this is just the head. So basically, we've got these 3 figures, and you can just kind of eyeball which parts are going where. I don't have to really lay that out, but next we're going to chop up a little bit and just kind of show you some quick points on how to dissect these parts. And then we'll have our rough model assembled, and we'll take a look at it from there. Alright, first we're going to take our Battle Damage Superman. The region we're after is right here below the knees. So what we're going to do is, I just always go ahead and take these capes right off. Really all they do is get in the way of your knife, and that's the last thing you need is something keeping you from making a clean cut. So, now we have just the figure. And we're actually going to go in through the back of the knee joint. So basically, what I do is I will take my X-Acto and jump in there right above the peg. And just kind of lay it in there. And that just kind of separates everything nice and cleanly. Repeat for the other side. Repeat for that side. You really want to watch your fingers. If you're using cheap X-Acto blades, they will snap off and sometimes cause you some trouble. So now we've hobbled this guy. He's not going anywhere. That's fine because the rest of his parts are basically useless. So now we've got these guys here. Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Ready to go. DC Universe Superman figure. We're basically going to do the same trick to him. We're going to knock him off below the knees because that's where our transplant's going to go. You can remove the cape. I think really for this section we'll keep it. Just to kind of give you a quick presentation once we get things going. So I'm just going to kind of fold the cape back. Don't worry about scuffing that emblem or any of the other parts. Everything's getting repainted. Lay the feet down nice and flat. And same trick, we're going to jump in right there above that peg. Knock it out. You'll hear it snap. That's usually a good time to stop cutting. Alright, 1, 2. And 1, 2 on this side. Alright, pop these guys out. So we've got no knee left in there. Alright, so now we've got our second hobbled Superman body. And you'll see here that it's really kind of nice that Mattel was the maker of both of these lines, because man, these knees fit right in there. It's like they were made to be there. So there's our now taller DC Superman, and I will show you a untampered version right next to it just to show you the difference. It kind of makes me wish that all of the DC figures were this scale. It was just a nice clean look, and really you probably won't be able to tell the scale difference right there, but it'll all come out once we get things going. So that's the first bit of the trick right there. We don't have a head yet, but once we do, it's really going to look nice. And so we'll just take this guy and set him right there. Stand him up if we can. And then we have our new Krypton Superman. We're just going to pop that guy right off. Little trick, I actually did that way before we got the video started. So now we will take a look at our instant Christopher Reeve figure. The musculature is, it's bulk body. So basically we've left all of our parts necessary for the Superman image, just so we can kind of see what we're dealing with. It's a very sharp look, but we're not done. We're not done yet. We've got a long way to go. So let's move on to the next level, where actually I'll go ahead and remove the cape. Go ahead and take off the head. He's not going to be very necessary for the next part. Ooh, these capes just rip right off. Just got to kind of use the neck area for leverage. What we're going to do is we're going to slim down the shoulder area. So instead of having his big round shoulders on both sides, we're actually going to just kind of taper that shape in a little bit. Make these shoulders less massive. And then we're also going to jump in, take a lot of line off these muscles here. Make them a lot smaller because they're just really not necessary for the Reeve likeness. And then also for the torso, we're going to eliminate everything back here. So that's this entire meaty region. We're going to knock that off. Just completely knock it out. It will not interfere with any of your articulation or holding the figure together, which is kind of nice. Knock all that off. We're going to smooth over this entire area. We're actually going to sand down the chest and this upper torso area. Going to clear off this six-pack. It's not necessary because the Reeve figure is actually wearing a costume, so he's not a buck body, just with all that comic book musculature showing off. We're going to do quite a few tricks on this, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Probably do a couple tricks right here in this torso area also to kind of add some articulation. So here we go. We're getting going.